Well, the competitive nature of things in life. Let's talk a little bit about that. Welcome to the Parallel Entrepreneur. This is a special series on innovation supported by Relationary Marketing and the Chase Studios, recorded at the Greater Nashville Technology Council Innovation Summit. I'm joined today by guest host Johnny Anderson. He's the entrepreneur in residence at the Nashville Entrepreneur Center. Welcome to the show.
So, Mark, thanks for having me. I really enjoyed the conversations we had at the Innovation Summit.
The annual event was a great opportunity for me and Johnny to talk to thought leaders in our community about what it is that makes Nashville special and what it is that makes innovation real in their companies. So sit back and join us for this special edition of having authentic conversations with people that care. Our guest today is someone who embodies what's possible when purpose meets persistence. Rod McDaniel grew up here in public housing in Nashville, and today he's the CEO of S3 Recycling Solutions, a nationally recognized technology recycling company with locations in Tennessee and as far away as California. Under Rod's leadership, S3 has grown more than 3,000%, landed in the Inc. 5000 5 times. He's been named Best Place to Work and given nearly 10,000 devices to underserved communities. Rod has earned honors like the Entrepreneur of the Year from Ernst & Young, Most Admired CEO, and he currently serves as board chair of the Greater Nashville Technology Council, helping guide the region's technology future. Rod has spoken on stages across the country. He's mentored founders and poured himself into boards and organizations that lift people up, especially right here at home. And these titles, they don't tell the whole story. What you'll hear today is a man whose leadership is rooted in faith, shaped by community, and focused on creating opportunity for others. Rod is a friend, a great leader, and he reminds us that success isn't just about scale, it's about stewardship. Let's get into it. So there's an inward look at Nashville and what makes Nashville stronger, and then there's this relative Nashville to other communities perspective that we hear. Different people bring a facet to that conversation. When you say what's Nashville strong at, and when you look outside of Nashville, what do we envy?
So what is Nashville strong at?
Yeah.
I think it's one of, so S3 has core values. One of our core values is community. I think Nashville is great at community. Think about it. Just I know my story is widely known, but a kid like me able to do what I'm doing today, I don't think you can do that without community. And so I think we do a great job in the city at welcoming people and then getting them connected and then supporting them through their journey. So I think we do a great job there. Now, what we can improve on, come on. I know everybody hates traffic here.
Yeah, wow. Traffic. Preaching to the choir.
Yeah. So I don't know. This is probably a little controversial, but maybe that tone will help.
Dig, baby, dig.
Yeah, and I'm probably digging right now. But yeah, it's not necessarily directly related to technology, but I remember the Mayor O'Connell coming to speak to our board, and he was talking through how that transit plan had upgrades for lights and using technology to try to move cars and vehicles throughout the city a lot faster. So I think, one of the things that we can work on is transportation in general. Because at the end of the day, like I think about my mom, in order to make a really good living, you've got to be able to get back and forth to work. And then on the flip side, we don't want to spend a whole bunch of time in traffic, sitting in our cars when we can be spending time with people, doing community.
I love it.
I'm having flashbacks.
Yeah, I'm kind of blanking on. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So you're the expert. So I'm not.
Well, no, I'm just thrilled to hear somebody in your position of leadership recognizes that our mobility, our individual mobility, is a direct relationship to our economic success. And when we're stuck in traffic, we're polluting. We're not leveraging technology, although I have a theory, and the theory might be that Nashville's growing so fast, new people come to Nashville, and then they sort of look around and listen to us locals complain about traffic. But then they go, y'all call this traffic?
Yeah.
And they don't see traffic in Nashville as a problem, because where they came from, it was insufferable, usually. And so I have a theory that probably isn't very popular, but I'm going to explore it real quickly. What if the time you spend in your car, everybody in this culture, in this community, got involved in educating themselves while they were there? Rather than entertaining, rather than listening to something that got you riled up about the news and divided us, we actually said, this is a competitive advantage in Nashville. When we're going to work, we're employed. When we're in a car with somebody else, we're building a community in that vehicle. Let's share rides. Let's listen to something that invests in ourselves and builds our own inner capability. So we arrive at work in a better Zen state. We come home and maybe we're ready to be a better family man or family member, right? So I wonder if there's a way we can push the idea that we can use that time trapped in traffic to improve our mind.
Traffic University.
Traffic
University. You're speaking my language now.
I love it.
Professional development.
Yes, sir.
At dead times, you're speaking my language, because it's always hard to find time, right?
Right.
And so I swim in the mornings, and I've got this new device that Bluetooth does not travel underwater. And so there's this device that I put on my head, and I can listen to podcasts. So I'll swim for about 45 minutes, but it's my chance to actually listen to a leadership podcast. If you go through my podcast, leadership. Same thing in the car. If I'm not taking a call, I will try to find some time to listen to some type of leadership podcast. Because to your point, whatever we're inputting, it's going to actually come out. And so you're listening to something controversial to work, you're being triggered, and then you're going into work with that spirit on you. And so, I really try for myself when there's dead times like that to make sure I'm doing that professional development. So you're speaking my language, man.
Just imagine it, if it's a half an hour or 45 minutes or an hour to work, insufferable as it may be, wouldn't that be great if we got a couple of hours of intellectual property development? And everybody that's going to work in Nashville throughout the entire area, maybe just set this new cultural standard. We're going to educate ourselves while we're stuck in traffic, and we no longer feel stuck.
So much of what we do is around distraction, and this is about personal growth. So how does the Technology Council help manifest Traffic University? Let's get this thing going.
Ooh. We've got Mr. Transportation here.
There you go.
we got to figure out something, man. Got an app?
Yeah, well, no, sign me up. We actually sold that company to a couple of really, really strong local entrepreneurs, AI, blockchain geniuses. I'm feeling like I'm excited about the idea that good ideas continue to propagate and they take on new life from new leadership. Back to your point about leadership. What do you think Nashville is really enjoying right now in terms of a leadership renaissance? As I see it, what do you see?
Man, a leadership renaissance. Now, are you talking specific to government?
Fair question. You're asking me to narrow it. I love what's happening with Vanderbilt and the innovation cooperation that Freddie O'Connell has brought to the table. I think the ecosystem of cooperative support organizations, I think this fabric is getting tighter. I think there's a renaissance. I'm seeing it in new leadership. I'm also seeing really friends of mine and ours that are leading these organizations today are very open to change.
Yep.
And it feels like the state of Nashville, this Middle Tennessee area, is experiencing a renaissance in creative leadership.
Yeah, so I'd say this. So I mentioned earlier that I think community is a strong point, but I also think it's a weakness. Because sometimes in that community, you build a community, you sometimes unintentionally shut people out. But I think what we're seeing, and just go back to what I said earlier, collaboration, to that innovation alliance that you're speaking, I feel like I'm starting to see new leaders come in and wanting to collaborate instead of building a wall and saying, "Hey, no, this is what we do." You're seeing organizations really work with each other now and say, "Hey, look, it's and ultimately it's better. Life is done better together. So why not collaborate?" So I think that's kind of what I'm seeing.
I think the traffic is sort of a side effect of the growth that transplants are bringing, and I think it seems like the wave of people coming in, they're bringing new ideas and new concepts and innovative ideas that maybe aren't as homegrown. And as a homegrown kid, I like the homegrown stuff, but I do think you're right. There is an inclusion component that just happens naturally when everyone here is from somewhere else.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah.
As a native kid, I've watched ideas change and flow. Tell us a good example of a leader you're currently working with that's from somewhere else that brought some special flair to Nashville.
A leader that I'm working with that's from somewhere else. You know what? I'd say this is probably going to surprise him for me saying this. Carl Sproul's. He is a leader that I have come to really admire. He's very technical. He's got a servant leadership heart, and I think his focus on workforce development has really kind of gotten us to really rethink the way we have always thought about it. And I think they came from, I believe, New York. It's always going back to the inclusive part. I think it's always good to have someone from the outside kind of coming in and shaking it up a little bit and saying, "Hey, look, what about this? What about that?" Asking the right questions so that we can all arrive at the place we really want to be.
And Carl's a great example, COO of Alliance Bernstein. Another transplant is Alliance Bernstein. So I'm going to ask a different question, but sort of the same question. The companies that are coming to town, the people that are moving in, we're also landing large organizations from other parts, in and outs coming in. Alliance Bernstein, I think Assurion. There's all these companies that Nashville is now a destination to be. What are the companies bringing? What do you see the organizations bringing in that same vein?
I've been really surprised, and I think, we talk about Alliance Bernstein. I think they've done an amazing job at incorporating themselves into to the city from a philanthropic standpoint and like just getting involved. I have been more surprised at the organizations that have come in and actually just embedded themselves into the community. You hear just a bunch of stories about sometimes the business community not getting much involved in the community, but I feel like I'm seeing the opposite of that. They're wanting, at the end of the day, their employees live here. They're wanting to make this place a better place, and they're really investing in it, and then getting involved with nonprofit organizations that fit their mission.
Yeah,
I hear people talk about quality of life. So you're a native. I mean, there aren't very many native Nashvillians. So we have blue blood over here.
I'm a native as well,
and you're a native. And
my wife is a native. We're a unicorn as a couple.
This is fantastic. This is Noah's Ark here of the natives. But I've been here for 25 years. So I feel like I came in as a corporate transplant and then sold the company, and you couldn't peel me out of here. I'm going to create something new in Nashville, and I'm not leaving. I've been driving around the rural areas of Nashville lately. It's been a thing that I had a chance to go out and explore more of Nashville and slow down a little bit. And what I've noticed is that, man, it's a beautiful countryside. It is a beautiful area. Every single direction that you go in Nashville, doesn't matter which direction, it's beautiful here. And I guess quality of life has a lot to do with what you do with your little plot, what you do with your seeds that you're planting in your company and in your community. And I've consistently over 25 years seen nothing but better and better and better and better and better quality of life in Nashville.
I would agree, and that actually segues into a good question, and maybe our last one for Rod. Someone asked me the other day, Greater Nashville Technology Council, that G, when did we change that? And I think it's been that way for, 10 years that it's been the Greater Nashville Technology Council. Can you talk a little bit and really about, picture driving through Goodlettsville, Tennessee, Hendersonville, Tennessee, Fairview. Why is Greater Nashville Technology Council? Why is that G so important?
Yeah, the G is extremely important, and it's it's funny, we've been dropping it a lot. You think about it, we've always said just the NTC, but the G is very important. And I was telling Mark some time ago, and I just like, hey, my new theme is ain't nothing but a G thing. We got to add the G back in. Ain't nothing but a G thing, baby.
We're the G men.
But to your point, my business, a tech business, is based in Springfield.
Yeah.
G. That's a G, right? We're seeing tens of thousands of devices that go through our facility on a monthly basis. And we are a part of the Greater Nashville area. And so I think going back to the inclusive part, we've got some work to do to make sure the G's are included. Yeah. Because there are a lot of organizations in these rural areas that have technology, that are looking to improve technology, that we need to include in. And so, like I said, ain't nothing but a G thing, baby.
Ain't nothing but a G thing.
Thanks for making it so great around here, Rod. Your contributions have been tremendous.
Well,
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys as well. Following behind some greats.
Wow.
Two exit tiers. That's where I'm trying to get.
Well, we can help you with that.
Yeah.
And at the same time, that is probably a thing that is also important about Nashville, is that the people who exit don't leave.
Yeah.
They stay and continue to reinvest. I've heard complaints over the years about not having the big exits and the big Silicon Valley. Compared to what? Nashville has great citizens who do manage to create great companies and contribute to the community, and then at the same time stay and reinvest in so many ways. I think philanthropically, there's a tremendous philanthropic community here.
Yeah.
Doesn't get enough attention.
The culture of help that Nashville brings to the table. When we've talked to leaders and they give feedback, we ask them what's different about Nashville. That's always a great question. What's different about Nashville? What's our secret sauce? And almost always there's a conversation around two things. One, we're a networking town, so you're always one degree away from someone. But the more important part that I've seen is, and there's a willingness to make introductions. Because without the second part, the first part kind of doesn't matter except for you. But there is a willingness. We are here to help. And so I love that we are that community, and I love those examples of where not only is it about the connections and your network, but it's about the willingness of that network that this town seems to have very uniquely, that I'll also introduce you to that one connection. I'm willing to help you. And that is such a Nashville thing. And I hope we always keep that. So what's one thing we can do to always keep that?
Well, I mean, it reminds me of company culture. I think that's a hard one, because the mayor, policymakers change, those type of things change, but they're typically, usually, I'll call the anchors in business around here, that kind of set the tone. And just like business, CEO sets a tone for culture, and I think the anchor leaders in town, like HCA, like any of the major corporations, HCA is a great giver of the community. And I think when you've got organizations that set that tone, that's really the culture of the city. And so I'm really proud of Nashville for keeping that culture. But I think as long as we can keep those organizations, if they can stay grounded the way they have been over years, and HCA, as I mentioned, is one that does a really good job. I think it's hard for other organizations to come in town and not be a part of that culture. It's just who we are.
You get ostracized if you don't.
Yep, you really, yeah.
Well, you just don't fit, I suppose, might be what yeah. I had an observation as a technology company owner, and I think Nashville has a widely understood core fabric underlying brand of music city.
Yep.
And maybe on top of that is the healthcare city, et cetera. But I went, in my own experiences with my employees, as I started to try to learn what is making them more successful in my organization, what makes them help each other be successful. And I noticed that spirit of collaboration, which we're talking about. Yeah. But they were all musicians. My database guy was a musician. My customer service guy was a musician. My gal running the warehouse was a musician. And they did this thing during the day in the company. And then as I started to get involved in the music business myself, I experienced what is collaboration. You're the lead guitarist, you're the drummer, we're riffing, everybody's contributing and taking and receiving and offering and improving, and they're collaborating in real time. Like, that's the thing, that's what you do as a musician, is collaborate. And I noticed that some of the greatest people that I have worked with were like secret closet air guitar, for sure, talented musicians. And it became a pattern to me. I think that the part of the fabric that is making Nashville special is the thing that we don't think about, which is how we collaborate, with each other. And we're all good at collaborating with each other. And then at nighttime we go play, at some secret song circle thing. It's just I'm wondering, do you experience that when you look at your employee base? Do you the people that you work with, do you see a pattern that they're in one form or another an artist or a musician underlying that?
Now that you have pointed out, yes. I've never thought of it, but yeah, like I think that is and we encourage it at work. So as an example, one of our account managers, he is he's a drummer. Actually, he no longer works with us now, but tell the story. I have a video. It was posted maybe about 2 years ago of him. And as a part of what we do, we try to support you externally. And so the entire team showed up to his he performed downtown, and we showed up, and he didn't know. We didn't tell. He had told us about it, but we didn't tell him that we were going to show up.
Oh, wow.
And we got it on video, his response of seeing us. Yeah. And I think that just goes back to just encouraging people to still follow your passions outside of work. Because I mean, at the end of the day, work is one thing. It does provide, it gives you a living to provide for your family, but don't lose yourself and not have fun and make a life for yourself. So I think that's extremely important. I mean, even for myself, I've had to go through that stage of myself where I was just busy, business, and I stopped and was like, you know what, I'm gonna do something outside of this.
I can add another facet to myself.
Like kickball. Like I play kickball. We were league champions this past season. That has been fun. Every Monday, go out and play kickball. I officiate football. So it's not necessarily from a music standpoint, but we've got quite a few musicians on staff that do that. But I think just your passions outside of work in general.
Right. And you just described team sports. I don't know. I want to have a formal survey someday where we try to figure out what percentage of our employees are musicians, and how does that translate into a competitive advantage for Nashville?
I love that as a topic, and now that I'm thinking through it, I can't unsee it. It is it's every IT departments are 60%.
Yeah, they're math.
Musicians.
Math is music,
Math.
right? Music is liquid architecture, and architecture is frozen music.
Maybe that's it. Happy people make happy companies, and music I dare you to listen to music and not be happy.
That's where we call on our closing theme song, right? We're gonna-
Well, Rod, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time and you sharing your story and some of your insights. And this has been a great discussion.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
I'm gonna have to go get one of those underwater earbud things.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
Join you swimming one day.
Zygo's the name. It's pretty cool.
Hey, thanks for listening to another episode of The Parallel Entrepreneur. And thank you to our sponsors, partners, and the special team behind the scenes that make it all possible. Be sure to like, follow, or subscribe to our podcast and get the latest updates. And to learn more about this growing community of entrepreneurs, our mastermind and companion program for your parallel entrepreneur journey, visit parallelentrepreneur.com. And of course, thank you to all the visionary guests who trust us to share their stories.